Hey, good morning, and welcome to the UroPatient podcast. I'm your host, Vic Sinise. We meet every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. And if you're watching us live, we're on YouTube and Facebook Live every week. And you can always watch our on demand by going to our UroPatient.com website, where you'll find all of our past episodes. Also, the best place to go to get any of our handouts. We've got a bunch of them, so go and check those out. Every program I put out, I have a handout with valuable information for you guys. So let's get started with our show this week. So I'm going to welcome Dr. John Malonis and his wife, Christine, to the show, and they're going to talk about some neat device that they came up with for incontinence. I was checking this thing out, and I think for men, it's going to really be a great device, but they have a male and a female version of it. It's called the Ur24 TrueClr external catheter system. So we're going to go ahead and bring them on right now.
Well, if we look at different external catheters, one, they're not active elimination. Two, they're very difficult to place. And in this catheter, if you see what we have there in our catheter that we're going to talk about today, it's just this is the male version here. We have multiple male versions to talk about. You can see that it is hanging on and adjusting and maintaining itself to the catheter, okay? And you're not able to get this off. So that's one of the and that provides now a closed system. So let's get into this. Let's take a look at that in a little more detail. So again, the true catheter, we're going to show you, we have multiple catheters. We have modified the male catheter multiple times, and we have a catheter that's bigger, and then we have a catheter that's smaller from the males. And we have a female catheter as well, which Christine has over here. This is the female catheter, which again is a little different because it has, if you will, more of a shaft in there. And then we have a pediatric catheter, both pediatric female and a pediatric male catheter as well. And that's this is the first, just as somebody who spends a lot of time in pediatrics, the fact that we're able to have an external pediatric catheter is very exciting for us. When we look at this catheter, there's several, you can read, there's several components to it. But one of the things that's very interesting is that this catheter you can actually apply yourself. So we have people who are putting this catheter on. We have a CEO of an organization that uses this catheter every night. He applies it himself, puts it on, turns on the device in nocturnal, and it really works extremely well for him. These are the catheters. You see the female catheter on the left and the male catheter on the right. There's two sizes of the male catheter. And we've learned a lot over the last 2 years about which catheter works best in circumcised males and non-circumcised males, et cetera. And so we're very excited about the studies. And we'll talk a little bit about that data. We've done many, many pilots. In our pilots, we looked at skin irritation, et cetera. And the skin irritation was minimal. And these are the infant products, the infant male and the infant female. This is the FDA approval letter that we have. So we're FDA approved and we're reimbursed by CMS, which is a huge accomplishment for an organization like us. So when we compare and contrast to other components, that you look at the PureWork, et cetera, and you look at, it's a closed system. It's for males and females. It's portable. You can take it anywhere. You can actually, we have a charger. You can use it on your car. You can use it on a plane, et cetera. And because of the way the system is built, there's no contact with the urine and the skin, which is a very, very important component of our product versus other products where you have a lot of skin contact. And if you look at our product, this product can stay in place for how long? Well, this product can stay in place for about 15 days in the inpatient setting and 30 days in the home setting. You just take it off, give it a little quick wash, and you're ready to go. So while it initially might be a little more costly, because you're continuously changing other products, like for example, PureWork, where you're changing it out frequently, the break point is around 2 to 3 days, where we're showing that we're more profitable than the PureWork. So I'll finish up here and say that we're really excited. We are beyond trials. We've done transplant pilots, and now we're in a randomized trial. And the data coming out of there is quite exciting. We certainly know that it's going to be very impactful for the people who have urinary incontinence and there's no question about that. But we're also very excited about the opportunities that we have in the inpatient units and the chronic facilities as well.
So sometimes I worry with devices that have suction pressure that, it could adhere and maybe suck against the penis and could cause like a bruising or something. What do you think about your device doing that?
There's a little bit of a solid stabilizer here so that this doesn't collapse. And if you actually put the penis on this, then you will get some suction trauma. But if you have it at any place else than that, then you see the distance between here, and we've realized that here's the stabilizer here, and here's the tube right here. If you keep that distance right there, then you're in great shape. So in the beginning, and that's the learning phase that we had when we had our initial trials, initial pilots, we had a couple of minor suction trauma.
So again, I'm thinking worst case scenario, these are external suction devices that are used, and some family member may be setting the pressure. What if you just, went crazy, turned it way up, had really high pressure? Is there any kind of safety mechanism built into the device itself?
They try to crank, let's just say you go over and the nurse tries to crank up because we're in the 110, 120 range for suction. If they go over there and they try to crank it up to 200 or 250, these will crack, and then this will not work at all. So it's a safety valve system that we have in here. So it doesn't allow you to crank up the suction higher to a high level that would result in injury. That's a safety thing that was put in a couple of years ago. So it's a great safety device.
So the real thing that got me interested in this device is when they sent me a loaner to try and see how it felt for myself, and it's just one of these things. I've used a lot of external catheters, and typically they're hard to keep on, and this thing is really easy to stay on. It's like those finger traps that you use where the harder you pull, the harder it is to take off. I mean, that thing, you can pull on it, it just does not fall off.
Yeah, this is truly, we both, before we do any product, we tried it. And I literally, as a male, you can get up and walk around the room. You could probably do minor jumping jacks. I mean, it's amazing. The male, when you put it on, you don't put on any suction, and then you start with suction. With the female, you are going to want to have some suction on there. So the female requires a little suction. The male is a barnstormer. I mean, you cannot get rid of this. If you want to, you can, of course. But it stays on whatever mobility you're on. The female, if you get up and walk around, okay, it's going to fall off. But if you move around in the bed, right, which a lot of us do, and I know Vicky's used it as well, it still stays on because of the suction that attaches to it.
Well, John and Christine, thanks for joining me on the show. I think this was really an interesting product and will definitely be a big help for patients out there. I will have a handout on the website on UroPatient.com. So do go to our website and look at our handout if you want more information on this particular device. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the shows. We'll see you all next week on the UroPatient podcast.